Hey guys, it's JimBlade304 here, and today we're taking a look at another LEGO Ninjago Legends set. This is set 71871, Battle at the Dragon's Blade. Has 1,016 pieces, will release for $100 in the United States on August 1st. I bought this early from overseas. Has 4 minifigs, 2 of which are exclusive. We'll get into them later on. And a pretty solid build here. We'll take a look at the Dragon Skull first, and then we'll look at the other smaller things in a little bit. Alright, starting off with the Dragon Skull itself with the blade. I think it's built up very nicely. The blade is not easily removable from the Dragon Skull itself, but the whole thing can be taken off of its stand as it shows you late in the instruction book. You can just pop it off just like that, and you have its own separate thing. You also have this spot for a place to pose the mech separately, or the dragon if you so choose. They do mention that in the instruction book. We're not going to go too much into that, but for now we're just going to pop this back on into place, and I think it looks much better on its stand. The Dragon Skull is built up primarily of tan and dark tan pieces with a little bit of other color mixed in. I believe that it is like a nougat color. I'm not exactly sure which one. And for play features for this, you don't really have much. You can open the Dragon Skull a slight amount more than what it is, but you really wouldn't want to do that. When you have the dragon build itself on these two Technic pins there, it kind of lifts it up a little bit, so it does make it a little bit more back heavy. But overall, I think it does look pretty good. Spinning it around to the back, there's not really a whole lot more going on. It's pretty much the same thing on both sides. There is a nice stickered piece there, and up here at the hilt of the sword. I do wish the sword was a little more removable than it is without having to disassemble the whole thing. But I understand why it's not for stability purposes, but I do think it looks good regardless. The hilt is built up very nicely using these red quarter round tiles and some cheese slopes with a black base at the end. And then it's built like a standard katana. You have a little bit of light bluish gray and then some sand blue in there, which I think looks really nice. The color scheme works. There is a little bit of foliage on the ground, some moss or something I'd imagine, because the skeleton skull has been here for who knows how many years. Ninjago Legends DuskFall is not out as of the recording of this video, but hopefully we'll find out what all this is about sooner or later. I think the build for this looks pretty nice. There's not really a whole lot more to say about it other than the fact that it looks good, and there's just some nice foliage details all around. Uses some of these newer flower or leaf style pieces, which I think are a good piece to use, and it's mostly symmetrical from side to side, especially the sword. The only thing that's different between the two is the position that this is placed in. It's placed forward instead of going backwards, which you can just change it if you don't like the way it is. And there's also another one of them up there to pose the Oni mech, and also a Technic pin there to help pose the Oni mech. Bringing just the dragon back into frame, I think it is built up pretty nicely in my opinion. The wings are the only thing that I don't particularly love because they are a little bit heavy, so when you want to stick them up in the air, they will kind of just fall back down without too much. If I just tap on it, it's going to fall back down. But overall, the color scheme of this is really nice. The sand green and dark green, I think, work really well together. It has a dark red tongue on inside of that printed face. It's built up separately, but the face print looks pretty nice. There is a sticker there, and then a couple more which are the same on both sides for the flags. And I think built up pretty nicely here. It has good posability. You can move the legs in and out, forward and back. It doesn't use those pre-bent joint pieces that I don't like, which we'll get to in a second with the Oni mech. But you can get some good poses out of this dragon, and I think overall it looks pretty good. I like the gold accent as well. I think gold is always a good color to use on something like this. It just gives it a little bit more armor and makes it look better. The Oni mech is easily the worst part of the set for me, and here's why. It uses these pre-bent joint pieces that do not bend at the knees and allow for very limited posability. You can still get some good poses out of it, but it just makes posing this a lot harder than it needs to be. The arms, on the other hand, do have great posability. They have 3 separate joints, one for the wrist, one at the elbow, and then one at the shoulder, which I think all 3 of these joints look pretty nicely. It also uses this large flame style piece, something that we've seen on other sets in this year. It's actually on this set itself, just in a different, actually, nope, that is a different piece entirely. It also uses this large sword piece, which I think looks really nice in this marbled effect of translucent orange and either red or dark red. I think it looks good. The color scheme for this is a little bit weird. It reminds me of something that the Dragonians would have used in the second half of Dragons Rising Season 3. Just gives that color scheme vibes with the dark blue and the red and the little bit of white that's mixed in. But overall, I think this mech looks pretty good. There are 2 stickers up at the top here. No control panel inside. The Oni just sits in there just like that. But we'll take a look at the figures here in a minute. Spinning it around to the back, it's tiled off decently well. Nothing too crazy there. Doesn't look terrible. But overall, I think this is a solid little build. Before we take a look at the minifigs, reattaching the mech and dragon to this is pretty simple. They have Technic holes in their feet, and you just attach them to the Technic pins. You can swap which way they're placed. You can also just place the Oni mech straight onto the stand by itself. Or I suppose you could do the same thing with the dragon. If you take a look at the instructions online, it'll show you more about that towards the end of the 3rd book. Each one of these does come in its own separate book, which is a little strange, but is what it is. I think overall, this looks good. The first 2 minifigs we're going to take a look at are Jin on the left, spelled J-I-N, and then Mira on the right, spelled M-I-R-A, for those of you who are interested. We don't know who these characters are as of the recording or posting of this video. Rumor has it that they're going to be descendants of the original ninja. We don't know how true that is. We'll see. I'm interested to see how these characters play out. Hopefully, they're good characters. I think these 2 figures look really good. Jin has some side arm printing there, which looks really nice. I wish they would have done like a dual molded arm. But it feels like that's becoming fewer and further between for the dual molded arms for LEGO, especially in Ninjago. I can't remember the last time Ninjago, if ever, has had a dual molded arm. Somebody let me know in the comments. But these figures do look pretty good. They are not exclusive to the set. You can also get them in the more expensive Ultra Dragon Battle set, which I think is fine to have these in a cheaper set by 50% cheaper. This set is $100. That set's $200. The back printing on Mira looks pretty nice, and their hoods are dual molded. That is not Aaron's hood that you are looking at for Jin. That is a brand new mold for summer 2026. We may see it used for Aaron at some point in time, but as of right now, it's exclusive to him. Removing all the extra things, we get a better look at their face prints, and these are their more battle-ready faces. And we get a better look at that side arm printing. It is the same on both sides, and I think it does look really good. And then around the back, we get a better look at Jin's back torso printing, which I think looks pretty good. And then their more calm, not battle-ready faces, which again, I think both of these look pretty good. Serviceable minifigs here. The other 2 minifigs that are exclusive to this set are Master Ivo, spelled I-V-O, on the left, and an Oni Warrior. The Oni Warrior is different entirely from the other one that comes in the Legend sets, because this one is in sand blue, also a completely different print and a different hairpiece. Master Ivo is completely exclusive to the set. There's no other version of his character in any other Legend sets as of recording and posting of this video. I think the 2 figures look good. Master Ivo, I wish, had dual molded legs instead of just continuing the print down to the legs, which I think looks good. But dual molded legs feels like something they could have done for a $100 set here. Turning him around to the back, there's not really a whole lot on the back of his torso. Just a couple of wrinkles in the cloth, which I think is unnecessary to have printed, but I'm still glad it's there. Shows that they care at least a little bit. And the Oni Warrior has some like back tattoos or something. Again, we don't know how this character will play out in Ninjago Legends. Also, plain black legs is a little bit disappointing here for the Oni Warrior, I think. And with their accessories removed, we get a better look at their face prints. The Oni Warrior gives a creepy, evil vibe, and I think the torso print looks really good for them as well. Master Ivo's face print looks pretty nice, spinning him around to the back. He does have an alternate face. The Oni Warrior does not get an alternate face, just gets some like tattoos or scars or something printed on the back of the head, which I think is a nice detail, even though it's covered up most of the time. One more thing before we wrap up this video. There is a poster included in all of the Legend sets, and this one is no exception. I think this one looks pretty good. Again, I would hang it up if I had the space to, and I'm going to try to find space to do it. But overall, I think this looks good. It does show the Oni mech on the skeleton head instead of on the blade, like I have it displayed. But I think this poster looks good, and let's get back to the set for the final thoughts. So, in conclusion, is this a good set? Yeah, honestly, I think so. I think this is a nice display piece for any Ninjago collector. I think it's worth the $100 price point. It's a little bit on the pricey side. Maybe if you're on the fence about it, wait till it hits like 80, like 20% off. But overall, not a bad set at all by any means. I think there's a lot to like here. I think the combination of how you can pose things is endless. You can display this however you want. And it even has some nice play features for not being a true play set. Let me know what you think about this set in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. This is Jimblade8304, signing off. Bye.